one legislator at a time in order to get to where we need to get. And I honestly believe that we are at a point, and we're nonpartisan, but we are at a point, and Lynn and I and Larry, we've had this talk and we've been fighting till we were blue in the face, that we have to look at both sides of the aisle. You know, we can no longer say, you know, if we do PAC, we're gonna give money to Democrats, we're not gonna give any money to Republicans or vice versa. We need to make sure that that money that you raise and everybody else raise, it goes to those people that are gonna work in our best interest. Now, Georgia had some new legislators, some new congressmen, and they were Republican congressmen, brand new. What we told our people in headquarters was that what we have to do is we have to build some relationships with these new congressmen. They're going up to Congress. They have not gotten their mindset together. We have to work with them. We have to donate a little money to them to say, hey, we're N.A.R.F.E, and we want to be a part of what you want to be doing when you get to Washington. And I think that's the way we're going to have to do business. I think any other way that we do business could eventually harm us. I think we have to be real careful on a lot of the things, and I'm talking on the national level now. We need to be real careful on some of the things that we endorse. We recently endorsed increasing the probationary period for new employees. I know everybody in here that worked for the federal government had a probationary period. Did anybody have a good experience during their probationary period? You did. I did. When I saw that N.A.R.F.E endorsed that, it brought back memories of almost 50 years ago. You know, they say your mind is a computer. And it came back as fresh to me as if it was yesterday. I had a manager, and he had taken me under his wing as a 17-year-old coming to work for the Postal Service. And, you know, wild and single and, you know, and barely could make it to work sometime. But I worked when I got there, and I followed instructions and got 2 good evaluations. The first 2 I got, the 30 days, 60 days, and then the 90 days, that was at Fountain. So the manager went on vacation. And my 3rd evaluation, my 90-day evaluation came up, and the assistant was the one that did that evaluation. Now, him and I, I did what he told me to do. We weren't lovey-dovey or anything like that, but he gave me official envelopes to take this to Human Resources. So I jumped in my car, took it down to Human Resources, and they told me, I said, you know, just stay at home, we'll call you. So okay. So I stayed at home for a week and a half, so I get a call from the manager. He said, why aren't you at work? I said, I took some paperwork down to Human Resources, and they told me to just stay at home, I'll be notified. He said, I need you to get to work right now. I went to work, and so he's trying to sort out what happened. Come to find out that the assistant, the form that he had sent me down to Human Resources with, was to terminate me on my 89th day. I had 89 days, and he terminated me. I had been terminated, didn't even know it. So every time I see probationary period, it brings back some bad memories. And one of the bad things about probationary period is that you're at the mercy of the organization. That you could get up to 50, 60 days and do something, whether it was right or wrong, and make the wrong person mad, and you'll be out of a job. And there's no other get back in the probationary period. A person shouldn't have to have a probationary period for a year or 2. That makes no sense. Legislation. Legislation is still legislation. We need to keep in mind that politics are still local. Lynn Westmoreland announced that he's not running for re-election. Here's a man that nobody ran against him. He was so powerful up around Sonoya and that area. Very strong congressman. But the word is that after Nathan Deal finishes his last term, he's going to run for governor. So we need to look at that. That Lynn Westmoreland and probably going to be a pretty tough candidate to beat. drawdowns. I know we have quite a few veterans in here, including me. And some of the things I'm seeing that's happening right now in the military troubles me. The unit that I served with in Vietnam, 25th Infantry Division, they announced yesterday that they're gonna cut like 1,200 people. And these are active duty people. They say that what they're going to do is they're going to rely more on the National Guard and on the reserves to be activated and go all these different places. And we know that weekend soldiers, they're not going to be able to do a lot of deployments. It's just not going to work. It doesn't work. But there's how would I say it? There's a lot going on right now in the military that could potentially weaken our position in the world. And we need to keep a real close eye on that. The military is just like all other places. I was looking at an article on General Petraeus. Now he went in, he admitted that he had done some wrong things. He retired. Now, 3 or 4 years later, Secretary Ash Carter is talking about coming back and taking one of his stars. Now this is 3 or 4 years ago. And if that happens, then he's going to have to pay back hundreds of thousands of dollars. Talk about bad justice. But those are some things we have to look out for, because the things that we are seeing that's happening in other parts of the world, they're not happening in other parts of the world now. I was in Denmark in October to visit my daughter, and we flew over to Paris for 3 days. Stayed over in Paris, went all over Paris. Went back to the Netherlands and then to Denmark, and then when I was flying back, I flew back through Charles de Gaulle Airport. When I got back home, a week and a half later was when all this stuff happened in Paris. So the things that are happening in the world, those things are on our doorsteps. We need to be real vigilant. When people go into school and kill kids, or go into an old folk home and kill old people, that's not good. That's not good. But that's part of where we live now. That's part of where we live. We need to look out for each other. In my article that I'll be writing very shortly, I'll be asking all chapters to establish calling trees. A lot of our members are homebound, they can't get out. And if we call them, they might not be able to make the meetings, but we are the only people that a lot of them will talk to. A lot of elderly people, they don't see their kids. They might have 4 or 5 kids and they're just by themselves. So we need to establish that contact again. You might have saw this on TV in the metro area that had a gentleman, he was in a wheelchair. His wife was on a walker. This happened Monday or Tuesday when it was real cold. He was in his workshop working, and he was coming back up the ramp in his wheelchair and turned the wheelchair over. So he called out. His wife came out, and she just had a nightgown on, for what I can understand, a nightgown or a robe. And she was on a walker, tried to walk down the platform, and he told us to turn around, go in, and call for help. When she turned around, she fell out in the yard, and she froze to death. And those are the type of things that can happen a lot of times when we don't stay in contact with our seniors. With that being said, it's always great to be here. Is it going to be a quiet year? No. Are we going to do what we need to do? Yes. And, if you're not doing anything, you got all this money saved up, come on out to Reno in August and September. I guarantee you it's going to be a bunch of fireworks out there, and you won't miss a beat. Thanks again. Always great to see you. And have a great day.
Thank you, Clarence. Always interesting to hear what your take on things. Clarence and I talk every day, so I usually know where he's coming from. Sometimes it frightens us because we think too much alike. I'll be thinking of something, and Clarence said, well, that was the same thing I was thinking about. So, on unfinished business, membership incentives, our chapter has done extremely well. I am excited. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 new members since September that our chapter has recruited, and we can contribute that, I think, to our forum that we had. We actually signed up 4 people on site that night, and then there were others that have joined as part of that. So that face-to-face contact with people, to me, is an excellent recruiting tool. We got one person that is leading the way on recruiting. Nancy seems to have the magic touch, but then the other day I was somewhere with her and she was talking to somebody and she says, "Are you a NARFE member?" You know? I mean, she said,
Poor guy was just a military retiree.
so that's what we got to do. There's applications back there, but we really need to promote it. And remember, even though the national incentive program stopped the 31st of December, the Georgia Federation goes through 31 March as well as our chapter thing. So you still have time. Get out there and you know, every one of you work with somebody that's probably not a NARFE member that you need to get them to join, or either they're a spouse of somebody that worked for the federal government. So talk that up, and Nancy's already made herself eligible for the extra cash bonus that our federation's given, because she's already recruited more than 3 members and all. But our chapter and the Athens chapter in competition with each other. I told the president of the chapter up there, I said, "Bill, we're going to beat you out on this one." So we're working hard to do that. But congratulations to what everybody's doing on recruiting. And Ned is an example of one of the recruits. He was recruited by his wife, Hope. But we're glad to have you as a member, Ned, and welcome to our chapter. Larry, you want to tell a little bit about the new thing that's on the website, the Legislative Beacon?
Oh, yeah. You know, you've heard me say many times that what was valid 30 minutes ago is no longer valid. It's been replaced, superseded, or whatever. Well, I thought about it one morning. I was out walking the dog. The dog wouldn't talk to me, so I thought about things. I decided that what I'm going to do in the future, starting the first of the year here, is the things that come in on a daily basis. And I get tons of extraneous information. Some of it's worthwhile, some of it's not. But those things that are important and have impact upon the federal community, instead of waiting to put it in the newsletter, which is every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm going to do it as it comes in. So we've got a very good website out there. For those of you that are computer savvy, you need to be using that website, because we can put instantaneous information on there, and you don't have to wait till the next meeting to find out that, you know, so-and-so did this or something has happened. So I urge you to start using that website. Visit it at least once a week, more often preferably. But there'll be not only my information, but other of the executive board will be putting information on there as it comes in, as it is applicable. So you don't have to read through a bunch of material, propaganda. It'll be the straight information on the website. So,
And it'll have like a lighthouse on there, and you can click on that.
It's already on. The lighthouse is already on there.
Jared Pafford over in Augusta is close to being a genius when it comes to putting things on the website. So he's done a real good job of it. And not only is it going to be national news that impacts the federal community, but it'll also be state. As you are aware, the state General Assembly is in session right now. They've got a number of hot issues, probably besides the budget and education. The medical marijuana is a real hot button right there. But there's other things that will be coming up there. And for those of you that are in the district here for the Senate, Georgia Senate, you know, we got a new senator up there, Larry Walker. And I think, did you put his?
No, I didn't put it in, I forgot to put it, we got his website address now, but I'll
We
put
got
it on
that
the
information,
website.
and we'll get that out to you. But call Larry, email him, tell him what's on your mind, because he's fresh, he's wide open and receptive to what's going on. I know Larry personally, and he's a good guy. He replaced probably the best friend that this district has had in a long, long time in Ross Tollison. But Ross has said, I'm still around, and if you ask me for information, I'll give it to you. And even if you don't ask me for information, I'll give it to you. For those of you that know Ross, know what he is all about.
Okay, thank you there. Also, when something's put on the website, you can also click on the thing for Facebook, and it's on Facebook. You don't have to be a part of Facebook in order to read on the NARFE Facebook thing, so I encourage you to do that, because Jerry moves it right over to Facebook when he does that. Everybody participated in open season, the Federal Employees Health Benefits Program open season. It was a record-breaking open season. They had more changes during this open season than they've ever had, and we can attribute that to the Self+1. It was so busy that they're doing a limited enrollment period, and it's in the thing, but this is for active federal employees, because we as retirees can, if we are under the family plan now, you can always change to the Self and all, but the active can only change during open season. So they did this, and so the dates are in there. It's like from February the 1st to February the 29th. Some of you have spouses that are still active duty, so please make them aware of this. If they did not change and want to change to Self+1, this is their opportunity to do so. And you've already seen the change in your checks, probably, on the insurance increases. We all saw that a little bit. So, NAR strategic planning. Clarence, you want to hit on this just a minute? Very.
Yes. On the NARFE strategic planning, one of the previous presidents, Joe Bowden, said that NARFE, as it was presently structured, would not survive. So basically what they did is they put a committee together from all over the U.S. And Lynn and I had the chance to serve on this committee called the Fund of Future NARFE Committee. Out of that Future NARFE Committee came a lot of recommendations as to what could be done in order to make sure that NARFE could make the necessary changes to survive in the future. What we found out was that the average age of our membership is about 74. And what we were trying to do was trying to see what it would take in order for us to start getting more younger members, because the Generation X or millennial kids are not joining organizations. A lot of their thought process is, if you do it for you, I'll get it anyway, so why should I join? Among other things, the declining membership. At one time the organization had over 500,000 people. Now we're down to like 225,000. So a lot of changes came up as far as decision making, as far as the way that we vote. It was 9 or 10 items that they finally put together, voted on, and they're going to be voted on at the national convention. And if they are passed, then it could change the path that NARFE is going on. And hopefully it's going to be for the better. But for the things that are not good that came out of this, then we're going to make sure that we let them know what you feel, what we feel, so that we can make sure we do the right thing. But it's no more than a framework of how NARFE is going to operate in the future. And most of this is going to be voted on, all of it is going to be voted on at the National Convention.
Okay.
Then.
Anybody got questions? We've had articles in our newsletter on strategic planning. Don't think that what's in that strategic plan is what the fund proposed, because it's almost 80 degrees from what the fund committee proposed is what this strategic planning committee came up with. But our Georgia Federation Executive Board is going to be discussing this in detail next week at our meeting, and then at the Region 3 seminar, it's supposed to be a subject again. So I will keep you posted on what is transpiring with that. You heard Clarence talk about the National Convention. It's going to be in Reno. If you've gotten your NARFE magazine, all the information is in there. I encourage you to look. I encourage you to go. When you see the airfares, it'll probably make you not want to go, because you can't. There's no cheap airfare, and you can't get there from here. You cannot go directly to Reno from Atlanta. I thought you could go anywhere from Atlanta direct, but not to Reno. That's not some.
Also, the rates increased for all of the airfares. But one thing that came out of it, and I don't think anybody knows about it, is that if you fly Delta or United, and I think the rest of the airlines are going to follow suit, if you call by phone and book, they're going to charge you $25.
Yeah. But if you book online, they don't charge you the $25. But if you do it via phone,
they're going to charge you $25.
$25. So just be aware of those things. And speaking of that, I might as well talk about scams right now. You've probably been hearing on the radio and read in the paper last week all the scams, especially IRS scams. Remember, this is tax season, so everybody comes out of the woodwork now, all the scam artists, and people are getting calls. They think it's from the IRS. When they call them, they tell them the IRS, and that they owe X amount of dollars, and if you don't wire us this money or pay this money immediately, you know you're going to go to jail. So remember that IRS, just like Medicare or Social Security, they don't call you on the phone. So if you get a call from the IRS, it is not the IRS calling you. Just ask for their number and tell them you'll get back with them. You know, so please be aware of that, because they are targeting the elderly. They are targeting just about anybody, but the elderly is a big target for them. So please be aware of that. The Federal Employees Group Life Insurance, a couple months ago, we talked about that there was going to be some premium changes. Well, that change is effective now. There is the new rates are in here. You have to determine what coverage you have in order to know how much your rate increase is. So be aware of that. That'll be reflected in your February check, which you get. So if you're impacted by that, I'm not going into detail, because everybody has to look at it individually based on what their rate is. And then, you know, everybody gets all excited, NARFE guys especially, headquarters, when a bill is introduced to repeal or change WEP and government pension offset. Right now there has been a bill introduced by Representative Brady from Texas to actually change the formula, reduce the thing on WEP. And that's what we're all impacted by, remember. So what they would do, the percentage of reduction they would propose changing it. He says it will be cost neutral, because he says that the dollars can be recouped from state and local, a better enforcement of state and local people that are impacted by that. I don't think that would ever pay for it, because some of these counties would certainly challenge them on that if they come after them with money. But we need to watch that. It's House Bill 711. You remember that, 711? So just remember that, sort of monitor it and watch what's going on. Larry will be monitoring that also. And Clarence already talked about the probationary period. 1099Rs, that's what you need for your income tax. So if you use the computer, you can go online to the OPM website and download your 1099Rs. It took me, I was in there in no time, had it. They will still mail them to you. Yeah, you will still get one in mail unless you have officially opted out not to receive hard copy. So don't panic. You will still receive hard copies, because they realize a lot of people don't use the computer, but you can go in and get it right now. so.
And you might remind the folks that there's a 15-month no-use policy on
Oh,
that.
yeah,
That kicks in if
We've been through that several times. If you don't, and also
Kay and I
after,
used it at the same time, but I got in and they said she hadn't been in 15
Yeah.
months, so we had to go through the
yeah.
whole process.
And also because of the cyber breach, a lot of people had to change their passwords, so,
It's about an hour wait by phone.
yeah. In fact, I was
They got a new number now. They
It's
put
not
out
published.
Just recently, it was yesterday,
Uh,
they got a 1-800 number where you can call, for the breach. That if you hadn't received notification, I hadn't received notification either, but I've been hacked about 10 times in the last year. But if you hadn't gotten notification, there's a number you can call, they can tell you whether you've been hacked or not, even if you have not received notification.
Yeah, so, but on your password, when you go into the OPM website, if you don't have a password, if they tell you gotta change it, you gotta wait till they send you a thing and all this kind of stuff. But if you do have a workable password, it will take you less than 5 minutes to download your 1099. Now I'm talking about that's logging on and go into the site and then print it off.
And
Lynn,
I
Somebody,
don't know if anybody else is impacted by this, but they got to have the 1095 B.
yeah, the 1095B, it will show you insurance. You know, when you do your income tax now, you have to report your insurance. Now, if you're a retired federal employee, we just have to check the box. We still have to show because it's on our 1099. But the military, they will send, that form comes with everything. So if you're retired military and all, or you're not civil service, you're gonna have to have that form, and that goes with your income tax. So that shows how much insurance you have paid.
and if you're a compensated vet,
Yeah,
I think compensated disabled vet, you get a form. I've already gotten a form from them, that
Yeah.
1095.
yeah, Larry got his when he downloaded his 1099. But federal employees, and there was a couple others, don't have to have the form. We just have to check the thing because it's covered by that. So be aware of that. Back on the back desk, you saw I had, and I hope you picked them, was a chapter operations survey. I would like for you to fill that out. What I want is, I want to know what we can do differently to make your membership experience better or the chapter meeting experience better. So if you don't have time to fill it out before you leave today, bring it back the next time, or when you see me, give it to me. But it's just to get a feel. Plus, I want to see, what kind of programs do you want? We need some ideas for programs. So it's just a little operation survey that I tried to write some questions that I thought about that could make us make changes to better serve you, because remember, this is our chapter, and so we want it to be an experience that's rewarding for everyone. So I encourage you to fill that out. It shouldn't take you long. All you gotta do is put an X or check in the box, and then there's a couple areas for you to write some comments. So I would appreciate if you would do so. It would help me. Does anybody have any other questions? Remember, tax season started the 19th. That's when you could actually submit. The IRS would start accepting electronic things. Lil, for you, next month I will have where AARP is having their tax assistance
I
place.
couldn't understand you.
Next month I will have where AARP is having their tax assistance places, where you get your taxes done every year.
Yeah,
I'll have it next month for you.
okay,
They haven't,
fine.
they haven't
I haven't
posted
got
it.
the papers from the bank or anything
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, but as of, that would have been what, Tuesday of this week, IRS is now accepting tax returns. So the tax season is officially open now. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to cover?
On IRS for this year, don't wait until the last minute.
Yeah,
They got IRS so jacked up now, they don't know where they are.
yeah,
So don't wait till the last minute. If you need to get some information from OPM, make sure you get that information early. If you do have to go in and get a password, as I found out, if they issue you a temporary password and you wait 2 weeks to do it, they'll cancel that one too.
yeah.
So as soon as they give you a temporary password, set your password up, don't wait.
I think I know for military pay, it's 48 hours after you request a new password before they'll let you
Yeah.
change it.
And now, it seems that we're always having to change passwords
Yep.
because of all the security things that are going on. But if you got questions on things, you can call any of us and we'll try to help you with it. We might not know the answer, but we'll at least try to get you an answer. You know, that's the thing is, never say, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Say, I don't know, but I'll get you an answer, because there's a lot of things that come up that we certainly are not aware of. Has anybody got anything else in regard to business things? Next month, I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Let me say, the 1095 I received yesterday was from Blue Cross from Blue Shield.
Yeah,
And it primarily what it wanted was your dependents list.
yeah. I haven't gotten one, because you don't have a dependent, so, well, Dawn, that's right, she's on, no, she's on your insurance, so.
Man, does everybody know why they're sending that? Does everybody know why they're sending that 1095?
Yeah, the reason of the 1095 is because the Affordable Care Act,
That's right.
they require
Yeah.
that now, because there's a penalty if you don't have insurance.
Like $700.
Yeah, they fine you. But us being federal employees, we have the advantage that we do have insurance, so. But you're right, some of the insurance companies are supposed to, if you get anything, it will be from your carrier.
Yeah. And that's supposed to go in with your
Yeah.
income tax.
Yeah, so. Any other questions? Okay, Clarence, we're gonna let you, before I do this, our speaker next month, he was supposed to be the speaker this month, but we had a fill-in, Karen came to my rescue, is Donovan Head. Donovan is the field representative for Congressman Scott. He had to make a change because he's part of the leadership class this quarter in Perry, and they have a retreat this week. So he decided he better not miss that one. So he said, I will be here on February the 18th. And then our March program, which will be St. Patty's Day, so wear your green that day, is Jenna Womble, the marketing director at the hospital. And there's a lot going on in Taylor Regional right now, so I feel sure that Jenna will have a lot of things to share with us right now. We have a new interim CEO at the hospital, at Taylor Regional Hospital, and it's Skip McDackle, and so I feel sure that Jenna will be talking about some of that. But she's all excited. Jenna used to be over at the Cancer Center as their public relations person, so we're excited that she has agreed to come. So Clarence, you want to do our installation of officers?
Might as well.
So will our officers please come forward and remind us the treasurer today?
That's all right. I'll be back down here so I can get her.
Joan, Jimmy? Oh. Larry? Leo?
Where y'all want to stand?
Kaplan? Come on.
Where you gonna stand? Right here? That's a
Oh,
good
no, somebody get a mic. Let me-
the flag.
Oh, okay, over by the flag here. Yeah.
That's the usual way.
Oh, you gotta
Yeah, come on in. Let me see, I'll go
Oh,
on
that's
this side.
it's in
That
the
way
corner over
that way she
there.
can see everybody. Sometime to get the back of my head, my bedside.
Short people in the back.
Lynn.
I know Lil is.
All right. We got everybody together? All right. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby pledge
pledge
to effectively perform
To effectively perform
the duties of my office,
the duties of my
my
office,
office,
carry out the programs,
carry out the programs,
policies, and bylaws
policies, and bylaws
of the association,
of the association,
promote its goals and objectives,
promote its goals and objectives,
and work as a team
and work as a team
in harmony
in
harmony
with the association's leadership.
with the association's leadership.
I will safeguard
I will safeguard
all of the association's property
all of the association's property
property
under my care,
under
my
my care.
care,
have such property available
have such property available
for official inspection,
for official inspection,
if required,
if required,
and pass on said property
and pass on said property
intact
intact
to my successor.
to my successor.
Please say, I do.
I do.
I hereby declare you duly installed officers of Chapter 1419 in the Georgia Federation.
1417.
Of Chapter 1417 of the Georgia Federation. You will now assume the duties of your office as prescribed by the bylaws. Congratulations. I did that one yesterday.
That's the CDC job.
I did CDC yesterday.
Might you get pictures? Huh?
So you want them now?
No, I just want to put them, if you go to the website, there's a photo gallery section where pictures are posted.
She also said she can snapshots off of those
Okay,
videos.
okay. I'll see you there. All right. Okay, I guess we have a couple drawings to do. First will be for the free meal, and Ned, where'd Ned go? If Ned wins it, he doesn't, he has to give that ticket to somebody else, because he already gets a free meal today.
Okay, just one.
Yeah, just one.
Last three numbers are 204.
So you ended up with a free meal.
Wow.
I was 3.
Okay, and this is for the $5 drawing.
Recover your meal.
All right. The number is 191.
Here. Loma, okay, you want to go in all times,
Lucky tape.
okay? Write myself a note so I can tell that one. Okay, is there any other thing? The next meeting is February the 18th. We'd like to have a good turnout. Have some questions for Donovan. He is very down to earth, easy to ask questions, things, so I feel sure he'll be open to entertaining any questions you might have. If there's no other business, the meeting stands adjourned. We're right on time.